Chapter 4: Respect and Peanut Butter. The Cadillac purred down the side streets of Memphis like a jungle cat hunting for dinner. Bally sat in the back seat, cigar in hand, window cracked just enough to let the night air cut through the smoke. Marco drove, one hand on the wheel, the other drumming on the leather steering wheel in time with the radio. It was supposed to be a quiet night. A check-in with the boys, a drink at the club, maybe a game of cards before heading home. But then Bally saw it, a flash of movement in the alley beside Tony's tavern. A man, shoving a woman, hard. Bally's sharp eyes locked on the scene as the Cadillac rolled by. The man, skinny, slick-haired, suit wrinkled from sweat and booze, had the girl pinned against the wall. His hand cracked across her cheek, the sound sharp and ugly in the humid night air. "Stop the car," Bally said. Marco eased the Cadillac to the curb without a word. "Stay here," Bally muttered, stepping out. His polished shoes clicked against the pavement as he walked toward the alley, smoke trailing behind him like a storm. The man froze mid-swing when he saw who it was. "B. Bally, hey, boss," the guy stammered, stumbling back a step. "I was just teaching her what." Bally's voice was soft. Too soft. She mouthed off. I didn't." Bally's eye slid to the girl. Her lip was split, her mascara running down her cheeks. She wouldn't even meet his gaze. Behind Bally, Marco stepped into the alley, hands in his pockets, a toothpick dancing between his teeth. "Marco," Bally said, his voice as calm as if they were discussing the weather. "What's your policy on men who hit women?" Marco tilted his head, never taking his eyes off the trembling man. "Policy's clear, boss. You hit a woman, you lose the only thing that makes you a man." Bally exhaled smoke slowly, almost lazily, like the whole world moved at his pace. "You think I'm thinking what I'm thinking, Marco?" Marco smirked. "Yeah, boss. I think you are." Bally's grin was slow, dangerous. "Marco," he said, "get the peanut butter." The warehouse smelled like oil, steel, and bad intentions. The man, Joey Calvini, a small-time Shylock who'd been working Bally's territory for 3 years, was tied to a metal chair in the middle of the floor. A single overhead light swung above him, casting long, sharp shadows. Bally leaned against a stack of crates, calm as ever, cigar in one hand, the infamous jar of peanut butter in the other. 2 soldiers stood guard. One of them, Big Eddie, leaned close to the trembling Joey and muttered with a grin, "Sure hope you got kids already, Joey, 'cause after tonight, you ain't gonna be able to reproduce." Joey's eyes darted around wildly. What's that mean? What the hell does that mean?" From the shadows, Bally stepped forward, the tip of his cigar glowing like the eye of the devil himself. "Means," Bally said, voice slow and deliberate, "you put your hands on a woman. In my city. In my territory. And in my city, Joey." He twisted the jar open with a soft pop. Men who hit women don't get to stay men." Joey started to shake, sweat pouring down his face. "Bally, please, I didn't. It won't happen again, I swear." "I shut him up," Bally said quietly. Marco stepped forward and shoved a rag into Joey's mouth, muffling the panic as Bally dipped 2 fingers into the peanut butter, swirling it like a chef tasting his masterpiece. "You know, Marco," Bally said conversationally, "my old man always said you don't just punish a man. You make him remember. You humiliate him so bad, the very thought of screwing up again makes his knees shake." Marco grinned, cracking his knuckles. "This guy's knees are already shaken, boss." Bally stepped closer, setting the jar on the crate beside him. "Good. Let's make sure they got a reason." The first swing of the hammer echoed through the warehouse like a gunshot. Joey's muffled scream was high and sharp, echoing off the steel walls. By the second swing, he was sobbing. By the third, his legs were trembling so violently the chair rattled across the floor. By the time it was over, Joey was slumped in the chair, face pale and drenched with sweat, breathing in short, ragged gasps. Bally wiped his hands with a white handkerchief and turned to his men. "Get him home, patch him up, and make sure every man from Memphis to Chicago hears about what happens when you lay a hand on a woman in my city." Marco grinned as they dragged Joey out. "Boss, I think the message is loud and clear." Weeks passed. Business was booming. The streets were quiet. And Joey Calvini? Joey was quieter than anyone. One evening, Bally sat in his office with Marco, a glass of bourbon in hand. Marco leaned back in his chair, feet kicked up on the edge of the desk, a smirk playing at his lips. You hear about Joey? Marco asked casually. Bally raised an eyebrow. What about him? Word is, Marco said, flicking his lighter shut, he ain't so much as raised his voice to a woman since that night. Some guys are even sayin' if he ever does, well, he's got the right now. On account of bein' one, Bally chuckled, deep and low, swirling the amber liquid in his glass. A lady, huh? Well, maybe he'll find himself a nice fella to settle down with. Somebody who don't mind his shortcomings. Marco laughed, sharp and loud. Boss, the way that kid squealed that night. I swear, I thought a pig got loose in the damn warehouse. Bally smirked. He squealed like a girl, Marco. Like a goddamn soprano in a church choir. The two men shared a quiet laugh, the kind of laugh that came from a job well done. A lesson taught. Bally took another slow sip of bourbon, eyes sharp over the rim of the glass. Respect, Marco. That's what this city runs on. Respect and fear. You keep both, you keep the crown. Marco nodded. And the peanut butter, boss. Can't forget the peanut butter. Bally grinned, tapping his glass in a silent toast. Never forget the peanut butter. End of chapter 4.